This video goes over how to use the podcast studio at Davidson. You can use the studio to record podcasts, voiceovers, narrations, or to stream and record any audio-based project. In this video, we'll go over how to access the studio, where this room is, how to book an appointment, how to set up the equipment, and finally how to record and transfer files onto your device.
To book the studio, first access the Digital Learning website. That's digitallearning.davidson.edu. Once you're there, click the Resources button on the menu, hit Digital Media Resources, and on that page you'll find a section about the Media Lab and Podcast Studio. Click the button that says Podcast Studio, and you'll be directed to a page that allows you to schedule specific time slots.
The podcast studio is located in the basement of the south wing of Chambers, and that's the site closest to Wall and Dana.
Here's a clip of how to get into the south wing basement through one of the south wing basement doors. That's Sloan right there, and there's Wall. And now I'll show you the other south wing Chambers basement doors, which is between Wall and the Lily Gallery on the side facing the library. The two basement doors don't have a CAT card reader, so you'll only be able to come in through there during working hours. If you're accessing the studio from any other location in Chambers, make your way to the staircase and elevator section on the south side by the registrars and go to the lowest level. This is the door you'll want to find.
Once you're in this hall, take a right and the podcast studio will be near the very end of the hallway on the left. Use the lock pad on the side of the door to access the key to the room. The passcode is 1984. Hold down on the open key on top of the lock pad to open it up. The key is inside. It will likely take a few tries at first, so if you need to try again, just hold down on the clear button and then try putting the password in again.
After unlocking the door, return the key into the lock pad. You'll have to input the passcode again to do this. If using and accessing the key is difficult or inaccessible for you, please reach out to the Digital Learning team before you plan to use the podcast studio.
Every headphone set and every mic is labeled 1 through 4.
Once you choose a number, adjust the mic level to whatever is most comfortable for you.
Allow me to introduce you to the RØDECaster Pro, which we use to record audio in this room.
To turn on the RØDECaster, press the power button in the back and the device will turn on.
For the context of this video, there are 3 kinds of volume. Number 1, how quiet or loud you hear the mics in your headphones. Number 2, the internal level of how much sound and pressure your mic is picking up on. Number 3, how loud or quiet your mic plays in the recording. So turn up the mics that you're using to around 70 or 80% of their power. In this case, let's say you're using all 4 mics. This is the equivalent of turning our mics on. To turn a mic off, just lower the slide button all the way down. The numbers on the mics correspond to the small numbers over here. You can press one of these mic number buttons to access the volume options for each mic. Make sure not to change any of the pre-existing mic settings, but feel free to select levels to adjust your individual mic level. As a baseline, we usually set all the mics to level 42, but depending on how quiet or loud your voice naturally is, do a test speaking into the mic and raise or lower the level so that your voice is within the green range. So if you're planning to zoom someone into your podcast or play over a voice recording, a phone call, music from your phone, there's a way to do that. If you want to, you can use the wires in the cupboard to connect to your device. I'm going to show you how to do it through Bluetooth. Click on the Bluetooth button. It will start flickering and a message will pop up on the RØDECaster. Then go to the Bluetooth setting of the device that you're using and wait for the RØDECaster to appear as a pairing option. I've just connected my phone to the RØDECaster. Let's say I want the Davidson show's I Love Commons song to play on my podcast. I can raise the song's volume using the slider under the Bluetooth icon.
If you have a cat card, would you please put it in the air? That Commons last night was awfully crazy. I stayed there so late.
I can do the same to bring it back down. You can pre-record sounds onto the RØDECaster using the colored buttons. To access these, tap on the small music note button, and that will take you to the different pre-recorded soundboards. Any gray button means that the sound is yet to be recorded on that button. Feel free to use those. You can also record over existing sounds, which will erase these pre-recorded sounds from the RØDECaster. So before recording your sound, you'll need to choose one of these 6 options. They basically control what happens when you press the button for that sound. So for play, it just plays the sound from start to finish. If you click more on the sound, it won't affect the output. For pause, it means once you click on the button again, it will pause the sound. Replay just replays the sound from the start. Latch is an extension of pause. It allows you to pause the sound and then play it again on the next click. This is really good if you want to remix a sound or a phrase. And as for the last 2 buttons, they're a bit different. So you have the swear button icon and then the trash talk icon, which basically just cuts out noise from being received to anyone who's connected on Bluetooth. I can record the song as a sound that I can play directly from the RØDECaster every time I'm on it.
If you have a cat card, would you please put it in the air? That Commons last night was awfully crazy. I stayed there so late.
Now that you have all the settings the way you want them, make sure the SD card is in the RØDECaster. Next, wipe out its memory. The way to do that is to click on the mini SD card icon and swipe right on the format option and wait as it reformats the card. Now you're ready to record a podcast. Click the green recording button to begin recording. It will turn red to let you know that it's recording. You can press the checkmark button to mark locations within your podcast so that they're easy to find later on when you're editing or processing the audio. The checkmark tool will only be useful if you have the free RØDECaster app installed on your laptop to inspect the audio files. Alternatively, you can just end and begin the recording again for every new section. This will create different audio files for each section of your podcast. Remember to press the record button again and that it turns red before you begin recording each section. Also, just a general thing to be aware of while recording: do not place things on the table or tap on the table or swivel around in your chair. Also, limit the amount of times you adjust your microphone stand while recording. There are 2 ways you can transfer audio to your device after recording. You can connect your computer to the RØDECaster manually using the cables in the cabinet. If you're going above and beyond and using the RØDECaster app on your laptop, you will need to connect your laptop to the RØDECaster using a cable and then select Podcast Transfer Mode through the small SIM card icon. What we'd recommend doing, especially if this is your first time, is to eject the SIM card from the back of the RØDECaster, connect the SIM card to your laptop. You can do this using the adapter and connecting that to your laptop. Once your laptop recognizes the SD card, click on it, open the folder that has your files, and transfer them into a new folder. Make sure before ejecting the SD card to play all of your recordings in your new folder on your laptop. This is to make sure that the audio files work and that they're complete. The next thing we're going to do is put the SD card back in the RØDECaster and wipe out its memory. And the way we're going to do that is to click on the mini SIM card option and just swipe right on the format option and wait for it to reformat the SD card.